Welcome to Contracting Conversations. My name is Scott Williams, and I'm joined again by my co-host, Jim Valley. Today, we're talking with Professor Dave Lewis, who's DAU's Learning Asset Manager for Con 7630, which is entitled Award Fee and Award Term Contracts. Welcome, and thanks for joining us, Dave.
Well, thanks for having me, Scott.
Great, Dave. We're really happy to have you on with us today talking about this new OLT on award fees. So let us know what this class is all about, how it works, and what people can learn from it.
Okay, just a little bit of background. For a while, award fee contracts were kind of out of vogue within DoD because when they would have award review boards, the fee determining official, and you'll understand what all these terms mean when you take the class, but the fee determining official they thought was being too generous with the award fees. The contractor was just basically performing the contract, and they were being too generous, not doing anything over and above to earn the award fee per se. But that was a while back, and DoD has changed some things a bit, and they've become quite a bit more in vogue now. So when do we use them? Well, we use them when primarily there's only subjective criteria that are available to measure a contractor's performance. We typically like to use objective performance criteria or objective criteria when we're determining incentives. But with award fees, typically you don't have those objective, clear-cut, measurable types of criteria, so you have to use a more subjective approach. So that's when we use award fees.
Thanks, Dave. How about telling us a little bit about the lessons you have in this course?
Oh, sure. Well, this course is broken up into three different lessons. And the second lesson is actually a video, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit. One of the things I'm really proud about in this particular class that we have is this video that comprises basically Chapter 2 of the class. And it's a video of two subject matter experts, one in contracting and the other a logistics and maintenance expert, talking about the award fee plan and the execution of the award fee on the T-38 trainer program. And it's across the entire T-38 fleet that the Air Force manages. Okay, so it talks about all of the strategy when they were setting it up, how it's executed, the results they're getting from it, how they were able to change the factors as time periods went on and they learned more and more about the program and what didn't necessarily need to be incentivized and what in the future would need to be incentivized. So all sorts of lessons learned in there. Ends up being a really good blueprint for the person out there in the field that's going to be putting together an award fee plan sometime in the near future. And then lastly, the third chapter in the class is on award term contracting. And this is a contract type that is used very rarely in DoD. In fact, there isn't even any FAR or DFARS coverage. The authority for these things comes out of the Code of Federal Regulation, Title 48, and the only place it's mentioned in any of our acquisition regulations is in the Department of Education acquisition regulation, the DEER. But that's where the guidance comes from. And basically what it's about is awarding additional periods of performance if the contractor meets the performance goals established in what is called an award term plan. Okay, so again, very sparingly used, but we do need to cover it since it is a type of incentive contract. So back over to you, Jim, for the next question, please.
Okay, so only thing I wanted to add is you brought up award fee, and it used to be used quite a bit, but the challenge with award fee is having the administrative capability, the personnel, to actually make sure you know what the contractor's doing to determine if they deserve to get the award fee, and also the feedback to the contractors so they can improve their performance, right? Versus hitting them at the very end, right?
Absolutely, and that was an acute problem actually that the T-38 was dealing with, getting feedback from the field because they're scattered all over. These T-38s are scattered, all over the world, and so you're trying to get feedback from each of these locations. But what they did to manage that was, and they talked to it, that they made it a very short survey and put a short letter in there beforehand explaining how critical it was to get this feedback so they could properly evaluate the contractors, so the contractor continues to do good work for them. And for the most part, that worked pretty well for them. But yeah, the administration of an award fee can be somewhat labor intensive. But boy, I think you'd see in the T38 example that the award fees definitely paid for itself multiple times over.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Thanks, Dave.
Hey, Dave, thinking about what you've been talking about here on these award fee structures, I would assume a good target audience to take this class would be not just the contracting folks, but possibly members of the acquisition team. They're going to be working together to work on this award fee, terminology, the objectives, especially when you're writing subjective objectives. So what do you think about your target audience for this one?
Absolutely, Scott. Anybody that's going to touch an award fee, if you're a technical evaluator, a subject matter expert in a technical area, or anything to do with the program, you might want to be familiar with the award fees. And this class, it's going to take, maybe 4.5, 5 hours of your time, okay, in total, and they're including a test at the end. And the test is easy, so don't sweat that. But I think it would be absolutely beneficial for anybody that's even thinking that they may someday be on an award review board or providing inputs into an award fee plan. So glad you asked that, Scott.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember back trying to write these, how difficult it could be sometimes to write a subjective criteria and how you're going to measure that based on performance of the contractor. So just as a very quick follow-on, since we're talking about that, subjective criteria, what would be a good example of a subjective criteria that you might see in an award fee contract?
Quality of service, management attention to certain issues, how responsive they are to customer complaints, not necessarily on a timeline, but in a qualitative manner. And a lot of that can be based on feedback from customers and such. So those types of things that are hard to measure, hard to quantitatively measure.
Great, thanks, Dave.
All right, Dave. Before we let you go, can you just kind of quickly go over how the students are appraised? So, how are you going to test them to make sure they got the pertinent information?
It's a multiple choice test. You're going to be given 4 choices for each question, and one of those choices is going to be right. And if you pay attention to what the objectives are in each lesson, the questions on the exam come straight from those objectives. So should be pretty easy. We've designed it to not be difficult, just to make sure that you understand the general message from what we presented.
Okay, great, Dave. So before I let you go, is there anything else you want to add?
No, just I hope that the folks listening out there enjoy the class and learn a lot from it and are able to apply it out in the field. So good luck.
All right, Dave. So thank you for coming on the show today to talk about Con 7630, award fee and award term contracts. We really appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
Awesome. So thank you again. So for everyone out there, I want you to stay on to listen to the rest of this because I'm going to have a big ask. I'm going to ask you, please subscribe to this channel, whether you're going to go on DAU Media, whether you're going to do it on YouTube, whether you're going to do it on Apple Podcasts, but also press the like button. The like button, especially on YouTube, there's algorithms out there, and by pressing the like button, we will hopefully get more publicity from YouTube. So please do that. So thank you for coming to the show today, and we are looking forward to future contracting conversations with you.